Bonjour mes amis, hi guys, I have a pretty interesting video for you. And yes, it's an Excel sheet, but I think it's one that reflects my whole watch collecting journey, where it's been, where it is, and maybe where it is going. You can see all the dollar figures, and the sheet is peppered with some little information. It's fun, right? It's a hobby, so it's a fun additional thing you can do with this hobby. But it's also very important when you're putting so much money into some sort of asset to keep track. And yeah, it is quite telling, and you keep track of what you paid, what you sold your watches for. If, like me, you buy and sell watches, and you see a bit how much it's cost you, or rather, what was the cost of your enjoyment. That's the better way to see it. And if you had to part with some of them or all of them, what could you hope to get back at the current market values? Which is, of course, something we can debate on quite a bit about what is the actual price that you can get for your pieces. All right, so on your screen, it is what I currently have, but when I scroll down, it is the things that I have sold, and I have sold more watches than I currently own, and it's quite a long list. So that's maybe the most interesting part of this exercise because you can see how much I've made, and I've gifted some watches as well. So the way I structure my Excel sheet, I have the brand, the model, and I try to color code to have a bit of fun with the look of the watch. I have the price that I paid in Hong Kong dollar and in US dollar. If I paid in euro or yen, I will keep a note. And of course, the FX can change quite a bit. So I usually will peg at the moment that I bought it the dollar prices. Hong Kong and US is pretty much they're pegged, so they'll be around 7.75 to 7.8 Hong Kong dollar per US dollar. I've hidden some of the prices to protect the guilty or the innocent. And so you can see the total current value, well, what I paid for my current collection, it's over 220,000 US, which is, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's too much. I'm gonna have to part with many of these. To be honest, one day I'll probably sell all and just choose the one or keep the one in this collection. That's the most ideal watch, you know. For example, Rolex, you know, they make watches for certain professionals or for certain usage. And you're only meant to buy the one that's the closest to what you would be using the most, right? Do you need a diver if you don't dive? For example, if you spend most of your time, you know, in the city working white collar job, probably a day just or a day eight is the closest thing to what you really should own from that brand. So that's just an example, but. As you have seen through my videos, almost 1,000 videos now, I've reviewed all of these watches. So if you're interested, you can just look them up. There is a video for all of these watches, and of course the SOTCs. So yeah, I've hidden some of the prices, but the total value right now is quite bonkers. And yeah, for a lot less, you know, if I had just the one or two really cool, really great watches, I could, yeah, my collection could be valued to a lot less, and have that one special watch. It's always something that's on the back of my mind. But of course, some people have one watch that's worth more than the total of my collection. So it's all relative. So some people will see this as a very basic, simple collection. Other people will see this as a demanded amount of watches. And yeah, I'm more into that camp, being, you know, kind of lower middle class kind of guy, or at least where I come from, trying to we always try to reach for a bit higher. But yeah, living in Hong Kong, I don't have a mortgage at the moment. I don't have a house and all that. So eventually, a lot of this will go away into kids' education, into the house. But that's making the story longer than it needs to be. The lower the watches are, the more I am likely to be selling them. And the price that I would sell them at is in these two columns, this one in US dollar and this one in Hong Kong dollar. Are they the exact current market value that I estimate? No, some of them are higher. It is where I would sell them if one day I would have the chance to. So it's not the current valuation is not really faithful to the actual market. If I just peg everything to what I think that I could get right now in a very slow market, we're probably lower. So I have a P&L, profit and loss, in Hong Kong dollar and US dollar. So right now, if I really pegged everything to the market, Chrono 24 prices, you should not think that this is what you can get, this is what people are asking. I'm closer to a minus 10%, which, yeah, would be in the order of over 20 grand. If I'm lucky, maybe in this market would be more like 15%. Some of the pieces we're going to talk about that. Early in my collecting journey, I was really careful and I would buy watches that were used in very good condition or from the gray market, and everything I bought in my early days, I could sell back a few years later, not only without losing, but sometimes making money, even on Omega and definitely on Rolex. Later on, I got a bit more fast and loose with my purchases, buying very expensive watches at the retail, and those are the ones that hurt, and that's when you take a huge slam. That's for sure. Don't be mad if you see in the watches that I rank lower or the watches I've sold, watches that you like. I've loved all these watches. I've loved them all, and there was a reason I bought them all. But you can't get to further if you keep everything, right? I'm not made of money, and yeah, that's just the way it goes. I have enjoyed the experience, and selling and maybe losing money. That was the cost of that enjoyment. Can say the same thing about other things, whatever hobby you have, or buying cars as well. Now, the things you can do to improve your Excel sheet is to add the purchase date. I've not been very good at that. I have to update this. Add the service cost, which is very important, especially if you have a lot of watches, and maybe add the service date. Also very important. You can keep track when you have a lot of watches, of course, they don't get used as much, but make sure that the oils don't get too sticky and degrade to the point that it will damage very much your watch. Sometimes it's tricky because they still run well, but the damage is more important. So be careful. And then for fun here, I sort of grade my watches on four different criterias. The comfort, which will include how it wears, the quality of the strap, the bracelet, the clasp, extension or not. Does it have loom? Does it have water resistance, magnetic field resistance? All those things go into the comfort. For me, accuracy is very important. I like my watches to run tip top, so I give it a whole grade. The looks is the first reason why we buy anything, any watch. So looks is super important. And the collectability, in a way, everything is collectible, but obviously some Patek would be more collectible than run-of-the-mill Tudor, let's say. But the grade is also affected by the price that you've paid. So periodically, I will review this. Some of it is a bit overstated. If you really take into account the sort of the investability and or the divestability of the pieces that you have. And when I add everything, anything above 31, I think I've set, will go green, and that's a quality piece according to my own standards. We all have different standards. So that's what I currently have. Now let's look at what I've sold. And this is the whole journey of the channel from the very first watch that I bought, which was the Longines Legend Diver, I think. And then my first Omega watches. I bought them at great prices, the Speedy Racing and the Aquaterra Blue Dial. I made good money on the Aquaterra. I gained $500. So basically, it was, and I never had to service it. So I enjoyed it for free, and that's the way to do it. And now looking back, I've played a bit too fast and loose. I should have been more careful because that's the real passion, the real great way to do this hobby is to manage to enjoy your watch without it costing you. Of course, with Rolex, you can often make a bit of money. I did really well on my Explorer 2. And that was thanks to yeah, Paul Pluta, Archie Luxury. He advised to buy this watch, and he was right. And after enjoying it for 4 or 5 years, I sold it with a nice profit because that's Rolex. So if you want to make your life easy, for sure, Rolex, you can't beat it. But yeah, I had an AP, Royal Oak, annual calendar. Service cost was a lot, and I stretched too far. I stretched quite a bit to get the longer 1815. Really fantastic watch. I loved it. I still love it. Then I got into some, starter kind of things, the Kurono, but they always come with other watches, and there's a reason why you have to sell everything. A lot of things pass through Hamilton, Grand Seiko, Snowflake, Shunbun, cool stuff. But yeah, you end up losing, $1,000 here, $500 there, and it adds up. And yeah, now I think I'm done with it. I stretched way too much just to get the experience. It is not worth it. It's much better to wait 3, 4, 5 years and get those things at a big discounts. And of course, I had to add all the Seiko limited editions, so many of them. But you got to be quick reselling them, otherwise the things. I mean, or either you be quick or you have to wait many years, and then maybe you can come out ahead. But that's taking a bit more of a gamble. But sometimes it pays off. Um, some Rolex Seiko watches have kept a good value. I think it will be less the case because the new ones are less interesting than the old JDMs, for example. Tudor, I've had them all, but yeah, lost quite a bit of money just on Tudors. Some 7 grand. And in total, yeah, Zenith as well. In total, I've lost, I calculate, 11% buying and selling all these watches so far, which is not doesn't seem too much, right? But in terms of dollar, it's 30 grand. 30 grand, you can get a really nice watch, a really nice car. So that was not the whole idea when I started this. The whole idea was to enjoy without costing, and then sort of, yeah, you get led astray by the whole passion and the social media and all that. And doing this channel also meant that I had to have some material, right, to review, and sometimes I had to buy it. I've put some watches in my kids' collection, a bit of Seiko, a bit of Casio, and I've gifted a few things to my nephews when the price is so low. There's no point selling, and you get nothing back. So I'll be gifting some of these to some family members. So that's it. Yeah, you can let me know a bit in the comments what you think about my own Excel sheet, my own collection, the journey, and the journey is I'm just in the middle of it. Eventually, everything will change a lot. I'll probably settle down on very few watches, and the journey leads us to the grave anyway, where you can't really take anything with you. Well, you can, but why would you? So maybe your kids won't care for any of this. So it's quite a big asset as it is. So 200 grand is way too much. I'd like to reduce this to 50 grand, something like that, or maybe just sell everything and just take my time to pick the one that just does everything. I kind of did that with the Vacheron Overseas. It's a bit of a test. That might be the one that stays, the one that's very usable and ticks all the boxes here. But there you go. I hope you get inspired by this to do your own Excel sheet. Keep track of your beautiful watches, your asset, and yeah, make sure that someone has access to it in case anything should happen to you. You have to think about those things as well, I suppose. Make sure your wife doesn't sell out your Calatrava for pennies on the dollar, thinking it looks like a Daniel Wellington. Well, there you go, guys. I hope this was informative, useful, eye-opening. It is quite. Yeah, I'm a bit flabbergasted sometimes when I look at this. I can't believe it. It went so crazy, so fast. But yeah, that's a bit of a word of warning about this hobby, I suppose. But yeah, let's take it with in strides, with a smile, and yeah, keep the journey going, and keep an eye on the P&L. Bye bye, guys.